The morning sun poured through the towering glass windows of Hendrix Global Industries, a billion-dollar company known for its innovations and ruthless boardroom politics. Its CEO, Marcus Hendrix, was a man of quiet strength, tall, dark-skinned, impeccably dressed, and feared by many. But behind his composed demeanor was exhaustion. He'd built his empire from nothing, yet he felt disconnected from the people who made it run. For months, Marcus had heard rumors, whispers of arrogance among his management, cruelty toward lower-level workers, and indifference from those who were supposed to uphold the company's values. "You've gone soft," his coup had mocked once. That night, Marcus decided to find out the truth himself. He called HR under a pseudonym, David Hall, and requested a position as a receptionist trainee. His assistant, Lydia, who had been with him for 10 years, was the only one who knew. "Are you sure, sir? You'll be unrecognizable in that wig and glasses," she had said. "I want to see my company from the ground up," Marcus replied. "Without titles, without the power." Monday morning, David Hall showed up in a simple gray suit and worn-out shoes. His thick glasses and trimmed beard disguised him well. The front desk manager barely glanced at him before shoving a clipboard his way. "Sign in, rookie. Don't mess up the phones, and don't talk too much." It was the first time Marcus felt invisible in his own company. As the hours passed, he watched executives brushing past janitors without a glance, assistants trembling under harsh words, and a few kind souls offering coffee to others. He saw everything. But one man caught his attention the most: the security guard, James Porter. James was in his late 50s, tall, with weathered skin and kind eyes. Every morning, he greeted everyone with a smile. "Good morning, sunshine," he'd say to the janitor. "Hang in there, brother," to the delivery boy. His presence softened the building's coldness. Marcus often saw James offering his lunch to others, sharing jokes, or quietly praying in a corner. Yet, when the executives passed him, they ignored him as if he were invisible. One afternoon, Marcus noticed James coughing hard behind the reception counter. He rushed to offer him water. "You okay, sir?" Marcus asked. James smiled faintly. "Yeah, just the old lungs acting up. Don't worry, son. You should see a doctor." "Can't afford it," James said simply, shrugging. "My wife's treatments come first." Marcus froze. "Your wife's sick. Cancer. Been fighting it for 3 years. Insurance doesn't cover everything, so I'd pick up extra shifts. Sleep's a luxury now." He chuckled, trying to hide the pain. Something inside Marcus twisted. Here was a man who gave kindness freely, yet was silently drowning. A few days later, a snowstorm swept through the city. Many employees left early, but James stayed, ensuring everyone got out safely. Marcus stayed too, pretending to finish paperwork. When only they remained, Marcus saw James sitting near the lobby heater, head in his hands. "You should go home," Marcus said softly. James shook his head. "Can't. My car broke down. Bus stopped running." Marcus offered to drive him, but James refused politely. "Appreciate it, son, but I'll manage. I'm used to walking." Marcus felt helpless. The next day, he quietly instructed Lydia to send an anonymous envelope to James, enough money to fix his car and cover his wife's medication. James later told David, beaming with tears in his eyes, "An angel must have done this. God bless whoever they are." But while Marcus saw compassion in James, he saw cruelty in others. He watched a supervisor yell at the janitor for being 5 minutes late, unaware the man had helped James push his broken car that morning. He overheard executives mocking the old guard for always smelling like cheap cologne. That night, Marcus wrote down names, those who led with kindness and those who abused their power. The truth was darker than he expected. One Thursday morning, an argument erupted in the lobby. A young intern had accidentally spilled coffee on the shoes of Greg Lawson, the VP of Operations, an arrogant man with a cruel streak. Greg shoved the intern hard. "You worthless idiot. Do you know how much these shoes cost?" Before Marcus could react, James stepped in. "Sir, please calm down. It was an accident." Greg turned, sneering. "Stay out of this, old man. You guard doors, not people." James's voice trembled but stayed firm. No one deserves to be treated like that. Greg's face twisted in anger. You're fired. I'll make sure security knows you're gone by noon. The lobby fell silent. The intern cried. James stood motionless. Marcus's blood boiled. He wanted to rip off his disguise and expose Greg right there, but he didn't. He watched as James quietly packed his things, patted the intern's shoulder, and whispered, Don't let cruelty make you small. That night, Marcus cried for the first time in years. The next morning, Marcus arrived early, not as David Hall, but as Marcus Hendricks, the CEO, dressed sharply. Every inch of his presence commanded respect. The staff froze when they saw him stride into the lobby. Where is James Porter? He asked. His deep voice echoed. Greg Lawson stuttered. Sir. He was insubordinate. I fired him yesterday. Marcus turned, eyes blazing. You fired one of the kindest men in this building because he stood up for what was right. Greg tried to defend himself. He interfered in management matters. Marcus's voice thundered. He defended humanity! Gasps filled the lobby. Marcus removed his glasses and pulled off his fake beard, tossing it onto the counter. For the past 2 weeks, I've been here, watching, listening, as David Hall, and I've seen who you all really are. Silence. Some employees trembled. Others looked ashamed. He continued, his voice breaking. I saw kindness in the janitors, compassion in receptionists, and loyalty in James Porter. But I also saw cruelty, greed, and indifference in people who wear expensive suits. He turned to Lydia. Bring Mr. Porter back. Now. An hour later, James arrived, confused and nervous. Sir, am I in trouble? He asked quietly. Marcus walked up to him, eyes glistening. No, James. You're the reason this company still has a soul. He explained everything. The disguise, the observations, the truth. Tears welled in James's eyes. Sir, you didn't have to do all that for someone like me. Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder. You've done more for this company than most of my executives. You've reminded me what leadership means. Then he handed James an envelope. This is for you and your wife, full medical coverage, a raise, and a permanent position as head of employee relations. I need someone like you to teach compassion here. James broke down, sobbing. I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay. Marcus said softly, and keep reminding us to be better. Greg Lawson and several other executives were immediately terminated. Marcus didn't yell. He simply handed them letters. You forgot that this company is built by people, not profits. News spread quickly. The employees who once felt invisible now walked with pride. The workplace changed. Coffee breaks turned into genuine conversations. Supervisors began listening. And James, every morning, he still greeted people the same way. Good morning, sunshine. But now, he did it from an office with his name on the door. Marcus often visited him, sitting quietly as they shared stories. Once, Marcus asked, Why were you always so kind, even when life was so hard? James smiled. Because, sir, kindness is the only thing that never runs out. Unless you stop giving it, Marcus nodded, his throat tightening. You're right, James. You're absolutely right. That night, as Marcus walked through the quiet halls of Hendricks Global, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. He looked at the reflection of himself in the glass wall, not as a CEO, but as a man finally human again. And in his heart, he whispered, Thank you, James.